In today's episode, we'll learn how to add an event feature to the form widget. So let's open our register page. As we have our form so far, the user only will see the validation error when he clicks on the register button. So this is not very friendly. So in this episode, let's learn how we can solve this problem. So let's say we want to display the validation when the input field loses focus. So for that, we can take advantage of the auto-validate mode of the Flutter form widget. So let's go inside of this build method, and inside of this form you can add this property right here, auto-validate mode, and this will expect this none with the following values. Always disable and focus on user interaction. So if you use always, this is always validate, disable, this will disable the validation. On unfocus, this is when the input field loses focus, the validation will run. Or this on user interaction, when a user interacts with an input field, the validation will run to all these input fields inside of your form. We don't want this behavior. What we want is this one on unfocus. So let's go back, let's open the page again. So right here, when a user select the type, if it's not selected, we'll get an exception error. As you can see right here, the same thing. If you don't enter an invalid input text, you get an error right here. So the next thing I want to improve from this layout is to add auto mark each input field as on focus when the user is filled in this form. So for that, let's create FocusNodes and then assign each one for each input field. So let's go inside of our class. Let's create these variables right here, late final. The type will be FocusNode. And then we need to create a node for the card type. Then name on card. And then card number. And then CVV code. And lastly, expiration date. So afterward, we need to initialize this variable. So come right here. Let's do an override of the init state. And inside of it, you can call your variables and then initialize it. So card type will be equal to FocusNode class. Then just copy and do the same thing for the remaining variables. We also needed the dispose method, so do an override and just call the dispose. So here we need to dispose of these variables right here. So just call card type dot dispose method and then just copy and do the same thing for the remaining options. So now we need to assign each variable to the corresponding input field. So let's start by right here, name on card. So you can come right here inside of text form. We have this property right here, FocusNodes, and then assign to this one is name on card. Then we need to come right here, FocusNodes, and assign to card number. And then CCV code, assign to CCV code. And lastly, expiration date, assign to expiration date. We also need to do the same thing right here for this drop down widget. So come right here. We also have this property right here, FocusNode, and then assign to card type. So now save everything. You'll get this exception right here. You just need to reload your app. So get started. Let's go back to this register page. So now the next step is to, when this input field is on focus, we need to add a border to it. So let's come right here. Let's start by this drop down. Inside of this input to decoration, add a comma right here. Just call this focus border. This you can use this outline input to border class and just call the border side and then call the border side class. Inside of it, let's define the color. Let's use colors.black and then give it a comma, and also let's add a width. Let's say 0.5 for the width. So then just copy this property and then paste for the remaining input fields. So now save everything. So now when you click on the input field, you can see we add a border to it. So the next step is when the user start form here. When you select an option, we need to go directly to this next input field. So to do that, let's use this class that Flutter offers us, FocusScope, and then we can provide a context and we can use the method next focus on request focus, where we provide the next node that we want to go to. So let's come from here. Let's minimize this ones. And let's start it with this card type field. So right here, we'll use this onChange callback method. So here, what we'll do is call this FocusScope. And then do dot, and you call the off, and you provide the context, and then you do dot, and just call this method right here, request focus, and then you need to provide what is the next node that I want to go to. For in our case, we want to go to next is card name. So come right here, use the name on card. So now copy this code right here. Now the next text is come right here, card name. Let's go to the number on card and so on. So come right here. For the text input field, we can use this callback method right here on field submitted. So right here, you can use an arrow function. So if you're now using this value, you can use right here the underscore, and then just paste your code right here and just call the next node here. So the next node will be the card number. So now just copy. For the card number, we need to go to the CSV code. So come here, call the CSV code. And then for the CSV code, we want to go to the expiration date. So now in the expiration date, we can come right here, paste your code. So right here, instead of requesting to go to the next input field, what we'll do is call this right here, this unfocus. So when you do that, the form is ready to be submitted. Another thing, if you don't want to use this unfocus, you can also assign this one to the bottom. So when user provide the value for the expiration date, it will go directly to this register button. So to do that, you need to create a new node for the bottom. So let's call this submit, and then btn for the bottom. Copy. We need to initialize and also to dispose of it. So now let's go inside of this build method. Let's scroll down until we come right here inside of this elevator button. Call the focus node and just provide this value right here. So now we need to change this expiration date. So come here, scroll down. Instead of calling this unfocus, and now you call this request focus, and then you provide this submit button. So now save everything. So we need to initialize it to solve this problem. Let's get started. Come right here. So now let's select it. You'll see automatically you'll go to this name on card. Let's say DEVDSNDUO. Then click enter, and then we'll go to the card number. So fill out the information of the card number. Next. This will go to the CCV code. Next. This will go to expiration date. And lastly, we'll go to this register button. So another improvement that we can do is for each input field, we want to display the correct type of keyboard. So for each text form field, we have the keyboard property that you can assign to input type. So you can come right here, call the keyboard type. This will take the text input type. And here you can provide a few values that you want. You have right here date, time, email address if this is for the email, multi-line, name, none, number, phone number, text, and so on. So for this one, this is the CCV code, so you can use numbers right here. Then just copy. For this expiration date, you can use text because we have a slash on it, so use the text for this one. And then for the card number, the keyboard type will be number. And then for the name on card, the keyboard type will be name. So now save everything. We can also add text input action. So here, when you open the keyboard, you will see instead of enter, you will see if you use, for example, the value as next, you will see the word next instead of using enter. So you can come right here for name on card. After you find your type, you can use right here text input action. This will take the text input and on. You can see we have values as continue action, done, emergency call, go, join, next line, next, and so on. So for this one, let's use next. So right here, when you are providing the value for this name on card, you have to click on next and you go for this one, card number, and then next for the CCV code. And lastly, for the expiration date, you click on the done. So this will be next. This one will be also next. CCV code will also use the next as the value, and then for the expiration date, this will be done. So notice these two property we didn't assign it to this drop down. Doesn't make any sense to have a drop down with keyboard type. So with that, our form is more dynamic. So now save everything. Come right here. Let's go back. Let's open again. Now we need to set up this one when we go back and we open this page to be on focus. So you can come right here. On the card type, we have this property right here, out of focus, and this will expect a boolean as a type. So let's say true. So now when you save, this will be on focus as you go to this page, as you can see right here. So now let's fill out this form. This will be DEVDSNDUO. Let's add a valid card number. Click on enter. Now you go to CCV code. Enter again, and now let's go to expiration date. So let's say 12/27. Click on enter, and now we need to submit our form. So this is how we can add advanced features to Flutter form. As you can see now, our page is more dynamic. This is it. In the next video, let's use this same page and then connect it with the edit option. So when a user is in the edit mode, we'll change the text right here for the bottom, and also the callback method will change. So the callback will be based if the user is register a new card or editing an existing one. This is it for this video. If you find this video useful, give a like and also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notification when new videos are coming out.